Called weak, Earth struck back, our warship Uncloaked to prove them wrong. The sky over Earth was clear, a pale blue stretching across the horizon, but humanity's place in the galaxy was far from clear. For decades, humans had been part of the Galactic Compact, a council of alien civilizations who claimed to keep order among the stars. To the council, Earth was clever but weak. Humans could invent, build, and adapt, but they were small and fragile. They were thought to be too emotional and too slow to matter in galactic wars. Commander Ethan Cole looked out from the observation deck of the orbital station above the Carthan capital world. The station hung like a silver jewel in orbit, and around it, ships of countless alien races drifted lazily. Ethan had been here for months as a military attaché for Earth. He had learned to watch without speaking, to nod and smile while other races whispered and laughed behind human backs. They called humans inventive, but not dangerous. They called them weak. Beside him stood Ambassador Olivia Brooks, her dark hair pulled into a neat bun. Her eyes were calm, sharp, and unyielding. She was small, like many humans, but she carried herself with a quiet strength. She could sense every slight and every insult the aliens threw at humanity, even when hidden behind polite words. "Ethan," she said softly, "listen to them. They think we are nothing." Ethan nodded but said nothing. He had grown used to it. The Carthans, tall and thin with eyes that glowed faintly, moved through the council chamber with a sense of superiority. They were the hosts of this meeting, and the other alien races, some reptilian, some insect-like, all followed their lead. "Adaptive," one Carthan said, referring to humans, "but fragile, emotional, not fit for real war." The words stung, though Ethan did not show it. Humans had survived wars, natural disasters, and disease. They had risen from small, poor nations to a global civilization capable of sending people into space. But the galaxy had its own standards, and by those, humans were weak. Ethan turned from the observation window and looked at the council floor below. Alien delegates whispered and watched the humans with curiosity. A few of them were openly amused. They had seen humans fight before, on minor disputes at the edges of known space, but humans had always been outnumbered, outgunned, and outsmarted in the field. They had survived, yes, but they had never been respected. Back on Earth, far from these pompous aliens, Admiral Ryan Carter sat in the war room of a secure naval command station. The room was filled with hollow maps of the solar system, fleet positions, and encrypted communications. Carter was not tall, but he had a presence that commanded attention. He had spent decades preparing for this moment. Humanity would no longer be underestimated. "Are we ready, sir?" asked Captain Lily Grant, her voice steady. She was young, only in her early 30s, but she had earned respect through years of training and discipline. She had been given command of a ship that few knew existed. It was hidden far beyond Neptune, cloaked and silent, a secret weapon that would change the galaxy's view of Earth forever. "We are," Carter said. "They think we are weak. Let's show them otherwise." The ship, a sleek war vessel with angular reflective armor, hovered in the darkness of the outer solar system. Its crew had been trained for years in isolation. Tactical Officer Daniel Harper studied sensor readings with intense focus, noting every anomaly in the void. Chief Engineer Grace Mitchell monitored the ship's engines, pushing systems to their limits without alerting anyone outside. Weapons Specialist Noah Bennett calibrated cannons and missile systems, ready for the moment when they would finally be revealed. Each of them understood the importance of their mission. Failure was not an option. Back at the council station, the rumors had begun to spread. The Valari Dominion, an aggressive empire, had been moving fleets near human trade routes. The council debated what to do. Many suggested that humans evacuate colonies and surrender disputed space. Most assumed Earth would plead for help. After all, humans had never fought alone in a major battle beyond their solar system. Commander Ethan Cole, however, knew better. He had received secret messages from Earth, though he could not reveal them to anyone. The message was simple: observe and wait. Do not act until instructed. The calm in the human delegation confused the council. Other species whispered that humans were slow, or perhaps foolish, or perhaps hiding weakness. But humans were not foolish. They were patient. They had learned from every mistake, every loss. They had learned to prepare for moments like this. In orbit over Earth, the first signs of trouble appeared. Valari ships, long and dark, with sharp edges, moved into human space. They sent messages demanding surrender. The transmissions were full of threats, sure that humanity would not resist. To most observers, humans would have no choice but to comply. Commander Cole watched the screens, his hands clasped behind his back. Ambassador Brooks stood beside him, reading every flicker of emotion on the alien faces below. "They think they will crush us," she said quietly. "They have no idea." Meanwhile, Captain Lily Grant's crew prepared. Daniel Harper ran simulations of every possible attack vector. Grace Mitchell adjusted power to maintain cloaking systems even under extreme stress. Noah Bennett ran test firings of weapons that had never been used in combat. Each action was precise, measured, and deliberate. The ship itself was humanity's answer to every insult ever whispered about them. Admiral Carter had made the decision long ago. Humanity would no longer appear weak. They had waited for the perfect moment, not out of fear, but out of strategy. To the galaxy, humans would seem small, fragile, and unprepared. But that was a mask. Behind it, humans had created something the galaxy could not ignore. As the Valari fleet moved closer to Earth's inner system, the tension increased. Council observers crowded their observation decks, watching events unfold in real time. They expected panic, they expected pleas for mercy, and they expected failure. But humans remained silent. The first Valari strike began on a lightly defended human mining colony at the edge of the system. Explosions lit up the darkness, and communications went silent. Alien observers nodded in confirmation. "See?" a Carthan delegate whispered. "They are weak. They will surrender." But on Earth, no one surrendered. Admiral Carter watched the transmission feeds with a steady hand. "They think this is the end," he said. "It is only the beginning." Captain Lily Grant's voice crackled through secure channels. "All systems are ready. We await final orders." Her tone was calm, confident, and commanding. She did not sound nervous. She sounded like the commander of a ship that had been built for this moment. Admiral Carter gave a small nod. "Proceed when ready. Wait for the signal." The Valari fleet moved with arrogance, entering Earth orbit without caution. Their sensors could not detect the hidden warship, though it hovered nearby, cloaked and silent like a predator waiting for the perfect strike. Daniel Harper monitored the enemy's positions, calculating every angle. Grace Mitchell's hands flew over controls, keeping the cloak stable even under heavy scans. Noah Bennett prepared the first strike, timing each shot to maximize effect. Back in the council chamber, Commander Cole could feel the tension rise. The aliens expected a performance, a human plea for mercy. But humanity had learned to endure, to plan, and to strike when least expected. Ambassador Brooks whispered to him, "It is time they see us differently." Ethan nodded, though his eyes never left the view of the approaching Valari fleet. He understood what would happen next. Humanity would no longer be underestimated. They would not simply survive. They would show the galaxy that weakness was never their truth. And somewhere, in the silence of space beyond Neptune, the ship waited. Its crew waited. Humanity waited. The first salvo of the war to prove their strength would not come with hesitation, but with precision, restraint, and absolute certainty. The blue of Earth faded from view as the camera pans outward to show the small planet below, peaceful and unaware, while in the darkness beyond, a hidden warship prepared to challenge every assumption made about humanity. The galaxy would see that humans were not weak. They had just been waiting for the right moment. The Valari fleet moved closer to Earth without any care. They had faced other civilizations before and crushed them easily. They assumed humans would be no different. On the council stations, alien delegates whispered among themselves. They are small. They are weak. This will be easy, said one reptilian diplomat. Just watch, a Carthan replied. They will surrender or beg for mercy. Commander Ethan Cole watched the screens quietly. His hands rested on the console. He had seen this arrogance before, from humans and from aliens. But this time, humanity had a secret the Valari could not see. Earth had built a warship, hidden far beyond Neptune, cloaked from all sensors, ready to strike at the perfect moment. Ambassador Olivia Brooks stood beside him. Her eyes scanned the council room, noting the confidence in the Valari faces. She knew that in a few hours their confidence would be shattered. They do not know what we are capable of, she said softly. Ethan nodded. On the hidden warship, Captain Lily Grant moved through the bridge with quiet authority. The ship was dark inside, lit only by the glow of control panels and the soft hum of engines. Tactical Officer Daniel Harper studied the Valari movements on the main screen. Each ship moved like it belonged to a winner. But Daniel had already predicted their positions, their speed, and even the timing of their weapons. They are moving too fast, he said to Lily. They think we are weak. That is their mistake. Good, Lily said. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were sharp. That makes them careless. They will leave gaps we can use. Chief Engineer Grace Mitchell worked beside the reactor controls. Her fingers flew over the panels, monitoring the ship's power. She had spent years designing a system that could remain cloaked while firing massive weapons. Each calculation had to be perfect. Cloak is holding, she said, even under heavy scans. Weapons specialist Noah Bennett tested the targeting system. Each shot was simulated with deadly precision. We can hit every flagship in the fleet without warning, he said. They won't see us until it is too late. Admiral Ryan Carter sat in Earth's command center, monitoring every movement. Unlike the aliens in the Council, he understood human patience. Earth had waited for years to build this ship, to train this crew, and to make sure every system was ready. The message humanity would send to the galaxy was clear. Do not underestimate us. The first Valari ships entered Earth orbit. Massive and black, they cast shadows over the planet's surface. Their sensors were strong, but they could not detect the hidden ship. On the council stations, delegates leaned forward, eager to watch the humans beg. But the humans did not move. They did not panic. Ethan Cole's hands tightened slightly on the console. They think they have the advantage, he said. They are wrong. Ambassador Brooks looked at him with a small smile. Let's make them see it. Back on the warship, Lily Grant gave her first orders. Prepare weapons. Do not fire until I say. Keep cloak stable. Daniel, watch the enemy. Grace, maintain power. Noah, be ready. Each officer nodded, understanding their part in the plan. Outside, the Valari fleet assumed everything was safe. Their flagship, massive and armed with the most powerful weapons in their arsenal, hovered over the planet. Their commanders sent messages demanding surrender. The humans would comply, they believed. That was what all weak species did. Then, the hidden warship moved. Slowly at first, then faster. It uncloaked behind the Valari flagship, a silent shadow appearing where no one expected it. Its angular armor reflected starlight, making it impossible to hide. On the council stations, observers gasped. This should not have been possible. Humans had been called weak. Humans had been underestimated. On the bridge of the Valari flagship, alarms sounded. Sensors do not detect them. They were invisible, a Valari officer shouted. Panic spread through the fleet. Ships began to maneuver, trying to identify the threat, but it was too late. Captain Lily Grant watched the screens. Fire the first salvo, she said. Daniel Harper locked targets. Engaging in 3, 2, 1. Massive rail cannons fired, sending beams of energy directly at the Valari flagship. The first shots struck the engines. The flagship shuddered as power systems failed. Smaller ships nearby scrambled, trying to avoid the strikes. The Valari did not understand what had hit them. Humans had waited, but now they were acting, and every strike was perfect. Grace Mitchell monitored the reactors. Power levels steady. Cloak remained stable. They cannot detect us. Noah Bennett guided each shot with precision. Weapons ready for second salvo. I can take out their main weapons without touching civilians. On Earth, Admiral Carter watched the first images come through. The humans had not fired recklessly. Each strike was calculated, precise, and effective. The Valari had underestimated not just human technology, but human patience and strategy. Commander Ethan Cole leaned back in his chair. He did not celebrate. There was no need. The plan was working, and that was enough. He turned to Ambassador Brooks. It is time they learn who we are. Back on the warship, Lily gave her second command. Second salvo. Target weapon platforms, minimize destruction of civilian systems. The crew moved with quiet efficiency. Every shot hit its mark. Valari ships began to fall back, some disabled, some destroyed. The flagship was crippled. The Valari tried to fight back, but they were too slow. They had assumed humans were weak, unprepared, and unorganized. They were wrong. Every move humans had made was carefully planned. Every countermeasure had been anticipated. The Valari fleet had walked into a trap they could not escape. Daniel Harper's hands moved quickly over the console. They are trying to escape. I can track all their ships. We can disable them before they leave orbit. Do it, Lily said. Missiles fired silently from the hidden warship, striking Valari engines and weapons. Ships were immobilized. Panic spread among Valari crews. They had never faced an enemy so precise, so patient, and so determined. Humans were not reckless. They were deadly. On the council stations, delegates watched in disbelief. The species they called weak was winning a battle against one of the strongest empires in the galaxy. Some could not believe what they saw. Others whispered in fear, realizing that humanity had been underestimated for too long. Ethan Cole stood quietly. "Do you see?" he said to Ambassador Brooks. "They thought we were weak. They were wrong." Ambassador Brooks nodded. It is not just about fighting, she said. It is about showing that weakness is a lie. Humanity has waited for this moment. The Valari tried one last attack. A group of ships moved in formation, hoping to strike the human warship. But Daniel Harper had anticipated it. Drones that had been hidden as debris activated and struck the approaching ships, disabling weapons and engines. The Valari could not reach the humans. Noah Bennett smiled quietly. "They cannot touch us," he said. "Every move we expected, we planned for." On Earth, humans watched the live feed in silence. No celebration yet. The Valari threat had been stopped, but humanity knew this was only the beginning. They had shown strength, but they had also shown restraint. They did not destroy everything. They did not take vengeance. They had proved that humans were strong, patient, and smart. Captain Lily Grant watched the final Valari ships immobilize. She looked at her crew. "Good work," she said simply. "We have made our point." Grace Mitchell exhaled, relaxing, for the first time in hours. "I cannot believe it," she said. "We did it. We actually did it." Daniel Harper smiled quietly. "They called us weak. They called us fragile. And now they know we are not." Ethan Cole watched the council chamber from his station. The alien delegates were silent. Some looked shocked, some looked afraid. Some were recalculating their assumptions about humans. The word weak would no longer be used casually when referring to Earth. Ambassador Brooks spoke to him quietly. "They have learned their lesson," she said. "Now they will think twice before underestimating us." The hidden warship recloaked and moved slowly away from the Valari fleet. They had made their point. Humanity had struck back, not recklessly, but with precision and restraint. They had proved that patience, preparation, and intelligence were as deadly as raw power. Admiral Carter looked at the feed one last time. "This is only the beginning," he said. "Humanity has shown its strength. Now, the galaxy will watch and think carefully before testing us again." The Valari fleet, once arrogant and confident, drifted disabled in orbit. Their leaders had learned that humanity could not be judged by size or appearances. Humans were clever, resilient, and deadly when cornered. On the hidden warship, Lily Grant turned to her crew. "We have done what few thought possible," she said. "Remember this, humanity is not weak. We never were." Daniel Harper nodded. "And we will be ready for anything else they send our way." Grace Mitchell smiled faintly. "They will never forget this day." "Noah," Bennett laughed quietly. "I think the galaxy just learned not to mess with humans." Commander Ethan Cole watched the stars outside the council chamber. The word weak would no longer define humanity. They had waited, and now they had struck. The first battle was over, but respect had been earned. Ambassador Brooks turned to him. "Let them think twice next time," she said. Ethan nodded. "They will, and if they do not, we will be ready." The hidden warship drifted silently in space, cloaked once more. Humanity had made its first move in the war that no one expected. They had not begged. They had not surrendered. They had acted, and the galaxy would never see humans the same way again. The blue planet below continued to spin, peaceful and unaware of the moment that had just changed its fate forever. The Valari fleet was in chaos. Their flagship staggered, its engines failing, and smaller ships scrambled in confusion. They had not expected humans to fight back with such precision. The species they had called weak had shown patience and strategy far beyond anything the Valari had faced. Captain Lily Grant stood at the command chair, her eyes scanning the battle grid. "Keep calm," she said to her crew. Do not fire unless I give the order. Watch their movements. They will try to escape, but we are ready. Daniel Harper, tactical officer, leaned over the console. They are trying to regroup. Some of their smaller ships are moving toward the edges of the fleet. They think they can outmaneuver us, but we know their patterns. Lily nodded. Then we cut them off. Precision strikes. No unnecessary damage. They must understand strength and restraint go together. Outside the hidden warship, the void of space seemed calm, but the tension was thick. Stars reflected off the ship's armor, but the vessel remained cloaked to the sensors of every Valari ship. To the Valari, the humans were still invisible, a ghost in the void, ready to strike when least expected. Grace Mitchell, chief engineer, monitored the reactors. The ship's systems were running at full capacity, supporting the cloaking fields while maintaining weapon readiness. Cloak is stable, she said. They cannot detect us. Their scans are useless. Noah Bennett, weapons specialist, smiled quietly. They have no idea what's coming. Every shot will hit. Every strike will count. The Valari flagship tried to regain control. Its massive engines sparked as technicians worked frantically. Commands shouted in Valari voices filled the communication channels, but their orders could not stop the invisible threat looming behind them. On the council stations, Commander Ethan Cole and Ambassador Olivia Brooks watched silently. Alien delegates murmured nervously. Some shifted uncomfortably in their seats, realizing that their assumptions about humans had been wrong. Weak, fragile, emotional. All words that no longer applied. They will not surrender, Brooks whispered. They have learned the hard way, and humanity is showing them that weakness is a lie. Ethan nodded. They are about to learn something else. Humans do not fight recklessly. We fight smart. Captain Lily Grant gave the order to fire. The warship's first salvo struck the Valari flagship's engines directly. Sparks flew and energy shields flickered under the attack. Smaller Valari ships tried to respond, but their weapons were uncoordinated. Humans had anticipated their moves. Daniel Harper guided the shots with precision. First strike complete. Engines disabled. We can now target weapon systems without destroying civilians. Noah Bennett activated secondary cannons. Secondary systems online. Targeting weapons on their smaller ships. Calculated fire only. Grace Mitchell monitored the energy flow. Reactors stable. Cloak holding. We can maintain stealth even under counterscans. They cannot see us. On the Valari flagship, panic spread. Sensors are blind. What is happening? Where are they? Valari officers shouted orders that went unanswered. The invisible humans had already disabled their key systems, leaving them exposed. Captain Lily Grant's voice was calm but firm. Fire the second salvo. Focus on disabling weapons, not destroying ships. Let them understand precision and control. Missiles launched from hidden compartments on the human warship, striking Valari weapons platforms with surgical accuracy. One by one, their guns were neutralized, their engines further damaged. Valari ships began to drift apart, disorganized and helpless. Daniel Harper smiled faintly. They are panicking. They cannot coordinate. Every pattern they predicted, we anticipated. Grace Mitchell exhaled slowly. Power is holding steady. No systems overloaded. We have complete control. Noah Bennett leaned back, his fingers still on the console. Every strike calculated. Every move predicted. They cannot touch us. Back on Earth, Admiral Ryan Carter watched the feed in silence. Humanity had struck with precision, and they had struck without cruelty. The Valari had expected humans to beg, to flee, or to fight recklessly. None of it happened. Humans had waited, observed, and struck with absolute control. Commander Ethan Cole watched the council chamber. Alien delegates were silent, shocked at the unfolding events. Some whispered anxiously to their neighbors. "They are strong," one Carthan said. "Stronger than we imagined." Ambassador Brooks smiled faintly. "Stronger than they thought possible," she said. Captain Lily Grant issued another command: prepare boarding drones. Not for attack, but to disable systems further if needed. We will not destroy them. We will show restraint and strength. Daniel Harper nodded. "Drones ready, I can deploy them in any configuration. They will neutralize any remaining weapons without harming life support or civilian areas." Grace Mitchell monitored the power. "Enough energy to deploy drones and still keep Cloak operational. We are ready for the next step. Everything lined up, every move precise. They will learn quickly." The Valari fleet tried to mount a counterattack. Smaller ships moved toward the hidden warship, hoping to flank it. But Daniel Harper had predicted the maneuver. Human drones that had been lying in wait activated and struck the approaching ships, disabling weapons and engines before they could fire. Panic grew among Valari crews. On the council stations, alien delegates were whispering nervously. They had underestimated humans, and now they feared them. "They planned this," one diplomat said. "They waited. They prepared. They are not weak at all." Ethan Cole leaned back, watching the images. "They do not fight recklessly. Every move is calculated. That is, strength humans have always had." Ambassador Brooks nodded. "And now the Valari will see it firsthand." Captain Lily Grant surveyed her crew. "Keep pressure. Do not destroy. Show them control and precision. Humanity is not here to annihilate. We are here to demonstrate capability." Daniel Harper guided each strike carefully. Valari engines failed one by one. Weapon systems were neutralized. Ships drifted helplessly in orbit. Humans had not killed recklessly. They had disabled, controlled, and proved superiority. Grace Mitchell monitored the systems. Cloak holding. Energy levels stable, every system functioning perfectly. We are in control. Noah Bennett smiled. "They cannot even guess what we are capable of. Every strike demonstrates not only strength, but intelligence. Humans, reveal yourself and surrender. We will not tolerate this." Lily Grant smiled quietly. "We do not surrender. We never have. And we will not stop until the lesson is learned." Daniel Harper guided the last salvo to the remaining weapons platforms. Ships fell silent, engines failing, weapons disabled. Panic spread throughout the Valari command. They had never faced an enemy so precise, so patient, so prepared. On the council stations, alien delegates were silent, watching humans prove a point that could not be ignored. Commander Cole stood quietly. "This is how we earn respect," he said. Ambassador Brooks added, "Not through cruelty, but through intelligence and restraint." The galaxy will remember this. Captain Lily Grant gave the final orders for Part 3 of the operation. Deploy, repair, and aid drones to Valari ships if needed. They must know humans are strong, but not cruel. Every action must demonstrate control. Daniel Harper activated the drones, deploying. They will stabilize systems, provide medical aid if necessary, but will not harm life support or civilians. Grace Mitchell monitored the power levels carefully. Energy reserves stable, cloak maintained. Drones deployed successfully. Noah Bennett guided the drones to key Valari ships. Engines and systems stabilized. Crews could survive without human interference beyond aid. The message was clear. Humanity was capable of destruction but chose restraint. Ethan Cole watched in the council chamber. Alien delegates whispered nervously, finally understanding that humans were not to be underestimated. Weak. Fragile. Those words would no longer be spoken about Earth without careful consideration. Ambassador Brooks smiled faintly. They understand now. Humanity is strong, intelligent, and capable of control. Craft Captain Lily Grant turned to her crew. We have made our point. Humanity is no longer underestimated. Our mission is nearly complete. Maintain vigilance until all ships are stabilized and we are ready to leave orbit. Daniel Harper checked the sensors. All ships stabilized. No immediate threats. We maintain cloak until we exit the system. Grace Mitchell confirmed reactor stability. Everything holding perfectly. Cloak operational. We are ready to depart. Noah Bennett leaned back, smiling. We have shown them what humans are capable of. The galaxy will never see us the same way again. On Earth, Admiral Carter watched the images quietly. Humanity had shown restraint, intelligence, and strength. That was the real victory. The Valari fleet would remember this. Every other civilization would too. Humans had struck, controlled, and restrained themselves. That was respect earned. Ethan Cole and Olivia Brooks looked out at the stars. We have changed how they see us, Ethan said. Brooks nodded. Yes. And now we prepare for whatever comes next. The galaxy will not forget this day. Captain Lily Grant's ship drifted silently, ready to recloak and leave orbit. Humanity had proven strength, patience, and honor. The Valari had learned a lesson they would never forget. The galaxy had learned that humans were not weak. The stars reflected off the hidden warship as it prepared to move silently through space. The first strike was complete. The lesson had been delivered. Humanity had shown that strength, intelligence, and restraint could coexist, and the galaxy would never see them as weak again. The battle was over, but the silence that followed was heavier than any explosion. The Valari fleet, once confident and proud, drifted helpless in orbit, their weapons disabled, their engines failing. Humanity had shown power that no one expected. They had not destroyed everything. They had not killed recklessly, but they had made it clear that the species called weak was anything but. Captain Lily Grant sat in the command chair of the hidden warship. Her hands rested on the controls, but her mind was already thinking ahead. We need to make this count, she said. Her crew, still tense from hours of battle, nodded in agreement. They had followed every order, executed every plan perfectly, and now it was time to think about what came next. Daniel Harper checked the systems one last time. The Valari fleet is immobilized, their flagship is offline, and the smaller ships cannot move. They cannot attack us again without repair. We have control. Grace Mitchell leaned back, letting out a slow breath. We did it, she said softly. We stopped them without destroying the entire fleet. That should send a strong message. Noah Bennett adjusted the targeting sensors one last time. I think the message is clear, he said. Humans are not weak. We never were, and anyone who tests us will regret it. Back on Earth, Admiral Ryan Carter watched the communications feed with calm satisfaction. Humanity had acted decisively, but with restraint. That was what mattered. The galaxy had not just seen power, it had seen discipline. That was a lesson that could not be ignored. Commander Ethan Cole watched the council chamber from orbit above the Carthan capital world. Alien delegates were silent. Their whispers had stopped. The arrogance that had filled the room only hours before was gone. Some of them were shocked, some were afraid, and some were quietly reconsidering every opinion they had held about humans. Weak, fragile, emotional, those words would never be used lightly again. Ambassador Olivia Brooks stood beside him. "They have learned," she said quietly. "They now know that underestimating humans is dangerous." Ethan nodded. "They will think carefully next time. But we have more to do. Showing strength is only the beginning. Respect must be earned." Captain Lily Grant ordered the crew to prepare for the next step. Humanity did not seek to destroy the Valari. That would be cruel and unnecessary. They wanted to show that even in victory they could act with honor. "We are sending aid teams," she said. "We will help their crews. They surrendered because they had no choice, but we will show that we do not seek vengeance." Daniel Harper opened the secure channel, preparing drones and repair units. "We can stabilize their engines and medical systems without removing control from our side." Grace Mitchell checked the power reserves. "We have enough for full repairs and still keep Cloak operational. This will take time, but we can do it." Noah Bennett smiled faintly. "Let's remind them that strength and mercy can exist together." The hidden warship moved slowly among the Valari ships. Human drones unfolded from compartments, sleek machines designed for repair and aid. They moved with precision, restoring power to crippled engines and life support systems. They delivered food, water, and medical supplies to the injured. Every action was deliberate, every step a message to the galaxy. Humans were strong, but they were not cruel. Back on the council stations, observers could not believe what they saw. The same species that had disabled a fleet single-handedly was now helping the enemy survive. Alien whispers filled the room again, but this time with caution and curiosity. "Why would they do this?" one Carthan asked. "Why not finish them?" Ethan Cole answered quietly, though no one could hear him outside the human observation station. "Because we are not here to destroy. We are here to survive and to be respected. That is different from cruelty." Ambassador Brooks smiled faintly. "And it is something they will never forget." On Earth, people watched the live feeds in awe. Humans had struck with power no one believed they could muster. Then they had acted with mercy, helping the enemy survive. Children looked up at the sky, imagining what humans could accomplish. Scientists and engineers marveled at the technology. Soldiers felt pride in a species that had finally been recognized for its strength. Humanity had earned more than victory. They had earned respect. Captain Lily Grant gave final orders to her crew. "Keep drones operational until the Valari ships can move on their own. Maintain Cloak until we leave orbit. This mission is not just about combat. It is about showing who we are." Daniel Harper nodded. "Every system stable. Drones operating at full capacity. We are ready for anything else they might attempt." Grace Mitchell leaned back from the console, tired but satisfied. "We've done everything we can. Humanity has spoken through action." Noah Bennett laughed quietly. "And I think the galaxy will remember it." The Valari leadership, watching helplessly as their ships were repaired by the humans they had underestimated, could not believe what they saw. Their arrogance had been shattered, replaced by a grudging respect. They understood now that humans were clever, patient, and strong. They had underestimated a species that did not rely on raw size or power, but on strategy, patience, and the ability to act decisively. Commander Cole watched quietly. The alien delegates were silent, no longer whispering insults. Weakness was not in the humans. Humanity had proven that. Ambassador Brooks turned to him. "They will never underestimate us again," she said. Ethan nodded. "And if they do, we will be ready." Across the galaxy, word of the battle spread. News of the hidden human warship and the precise, restrained victory reached distant worlds. Some species began to reconsider their alliances and strategies. Some wondered if they had misjudged humans in the past. Humanity, long considered a minor player, had proven it could not be ignored. On the hidden warship, Lily Grant watched the final Valari ship regain full control. Engines hummed, weapons systems were online, and medical teams reported that all critical injuries had been treated. "Mission complete," she said. "Return to Cloak and prepare to move out of the system." Daniel Harper checked the sensors one last time. All clear. "They are mobile. Cloak ready." Grace Mitchell shut down non-essential power systems. "All systems stable. We are ready to leave orbit." Noah Bennett smiled. "We made a point. Humanity will be remembered for this day." Back on Earth, Admiral Carter watched the last images of the repaired Valari fleet. "Humanity has shown what it means to fight wisely and act with honor," he said. "This is how we earn respect, not through fear, but through action and restraint." Commander Cole looked at the stars, thinking of the future. "The first lesson has been taught," he said. "Now we must ensure it is never forgotten. Humans will be ready for anything the galaxy sends our way." Ambassador Brooks turned to him. "And they will remember that respect is earned, not demanded." The hidden warship recloaked and slowly moved away from the Valari fleet. Humans had made their point, but the message went beyond just one enemy. Across the galaxy, every race would think twice before underestimating Earth again. Humans were clever, patient, and strong. Humanity had waited for the right moment and had struck with precision, proving that the species called weak was anything but. On the council stations, alien delegates whispered among themselves, some in fear, some in awe. Humanity had changed how they thought of the small blue planet. Weakness, fragility, and carelessness were no longer words associated with humans. They had demonstrated strength, discipline, and honor. The galaxy had learned a lesson it would not forget. Captain Lily Grant watched the stars through the ship's viewport. "We showed them who we are," she said quietly. "And we did it without losing ourselves in the process." Daniel Harper nodded. "We acted with precision. We acted with honor. That is humanity." Grace Mitchell smiled faintly. "And now they know that we are not weak. We never were." Noah Bennett laughed quietly. "I think the galaxy just learned not to mess with humans." On Earth, people celebrated quietly. There was no shouting, no overreaction. Humanity had earned something more valuable than victory: respect. Scientists, soldiers, engineers, and ordinary citizens all understood the message. Humans were clever, patient, and strong. They could survive anything the galaxy threw at them. Commander Cole and Ambassador Brooks stood together, watching the stars. "We have done more than fight," Ethan said. "We have changed how the galaxy sees us, and that is worth more than any battle." Olivia Brooks nodded. "The first step is done. Now we must remain ready." The galaxy will not forget this day. The hidden warship drifted silently through space. Cloaked once more, humanity had proven itself. They had not begged, they had not surrendered, and they had not been reckless. They had acted with intelligence, patience, and honor. The small blue planet of Earth turned slowly below, peaceful and unaware of the moment that had changed its place in the galaxy forever. Humans had waited, they had prepared, and they had struck. They were not weak. They had never been weak. And somewhere in the dark expanse of space, other civilizations began recalculating what it truly meant to call Earth fragile. Humanity had earned respect in starlight. The galaxy would never see them the same way again.